Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh and a very good morning. Welcome to our 28th session of webinar series Captain of Industry, brought to you by Faculty of Engineering, UTM Johor Bahru. We are initiating university-industry collaboration during unforeseen pandemic situation. Since Movement Control Order MCO until now in Conditional Movement Control Order CMCO, to have a platform with our Captain of Industry to share their thoughts, way forward and challenges during post-COVID-19. Now we are streaming live from Facebook Faculty of Engineering UTM. Today, we would like to welcome Yang Berbahagia Honorary Professor Technology Shamsul Kamar Abdul Samah, Head National Aerospace Industry Coordinating Office, Ministry of International Trade and Industry, with his interesting topic today entitled Engineering the Future of the Nation High-Tech Industries. Without further ado, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha, Professor Dr. Engineer Dr. Muhammad Rafiq Dato' Abdul Kadir, Dean Faculty of Engineering, to introduce our captain today. Over to you, Dato'.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Murni, for chairing the session. My name is Muhammad Rafiq, and I am the Dean of Engineering, University Technology Malaysia. Today, it is my utmost pleasure to welcome Honorary Professor Technologist Shamsul Kamar Abdul Samah, Head National Aerospace Industry Coordinating Office, Ministry of International Trade and Industry. A bit about our presenter today. Prof. Technologist Shamsul is currently the Head of National Aerospace Industry Coordinating Office, NICO, an office under the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, MITI. He joined NICO since April 2016 after completing his excellent tenure as the Chief Executive Officer of Aerospace Malaysia Innovation Centre, AMIC, from February 2014 until March 2016. Previously, he was the Head of Aerospace and Advanced Material at Malaysian Industry Government Group for High Technology, MITE. Earlier, Professor Technologist Shamsul spent over 7 years from 1999 until 2006 as a senior engineer at Sapura Defence Sdn Bhd. In that capacity, he organized various business development activities, tender bidding, project and contract management, including operation management, mostly in the area of flight simulation system and air traffic services. Formerly, he served Aerod Alinea Technology Sdn Bhd as a radar maintenance engineer during the period from year 1995 to 1996 and 1998 to 1999. In that role, he was responsible for the maintenance of Malaysian air traffic control system, radar and communication system. In August 2016, Professor Technologist Shamsul was appointed as Honorary Professor in the Department of Mechanical, Materials and Manufacturing Engineering by the University of Nottingham, Malaysia campus. Professor Technologist Shamsul graduated from the University of Portsmouth, United Kingdom in 1998 with a Bachelor of Engineering degree honours in Electronic and Electrical Engineering. He also holds a Diploma in Electrical Engineering from University Technology Malaysia. So that is a brief biography of our speaker today. Here now is Honorary Professor Technologist Shamsul Kamar Abdul Samah, Head National Aerospace Industry Coordinating Office, Ministry of International Trade and Industry, with his talk entitled Engineering the Future of the Nation's High-Tech Industries. Professor Shamsul Kamar, over to you.
Thank you very much to the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, UTM, Professor Dr. Engineer Dr. Muhammad Rafiq, for inviting me to be one of the speakers for today's program. And I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate FKM for being awarded as the top 50 in the world for engineering study under the Best Global Universities 2021. And for the upcoming years, I do hope that for the next evaluation, the School of Electrical Engineering will be one of the top engineering schools in Malaysia. Before I proceed with the presentation, as mentioned by the Dean, I was a student, ex-student of the University Technology Malaysia back in 1995. Just to recap certain of my activities in the universities apart from being students under the diploma of power electricals, I was also involved in students clubs and association, and I was the student representative council back in 1993-94, representing the Faculty of Electrical Engineering. So during that time, the School of Engineering is known as the Faculty of Engineering, Electrical Engineering. And I was also the one of the founder of the Counseling and Career Club of UTM, or better known as KKDK. So there are about 7 to 10 of my colleagues that sits together with us in developing programs and initiates the establishment of KKDK together with the counseling office of UTM KL. Okay, for the next slides and the presentation, I will highlight the future of the nation's high tech and what is our role, particularly engineers and technocrats, in developing such area. Of course, in my presentations and my briefing, I will highlight mostly about aerospace industry, but nevertheless, it can be replicated to any other high technology industry. A little bit about NICO Malaysia. NICO Malaysia, or better known as National Aerospace Industry Coordinating Office, is a small unit established by the ministry back in 2015, based on the recommendation of the blueprint, Malaysian Aerospace Industry Blueprint 2030. And the blueprint was launched by the Prime Minister during Lima 2015. NICO Malaysia acts as the main industry facilitator in implementing the Aerospace Blueprint 2030 key initiative. Of course, we work together with parties, particularly the agencies under MITI, and also relevant division of many ministries. So we coordinate, prioritize, review, manage, and monitor overall aerospace industry development programs in Malaysia. We coordinate and implement the Aerospace Blueprint 2030 initiative, and also monitor the progress of the industry. We are also the reference point for local and international aerospace players. We promote, facilitate the involvement of local players, particularly the SMEs, into the global supply chain. And last but not least, we are also the secretariat to the Malaysian Aerospace Council. Previously was chaired by Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri, and currently being chaired by the Minister of MITI. So as you can see, aerospace industry has been identified as one of the potential sectors for the development of industry in Malaysia. But why aerospace rather than any other industries? Aerospace industry has been highlighted by the Prime Minister during the opening ceremony of Lima 1997 in Langkawi. It houses the most complex core technologies which are applicable to other industries and provide critical technologies for the future. You may know that aerospace industry is one of the highly regulated industry, of which everything has to be developed in accordance to specific specification, specific regulations, and also certification. And of course, when we have that capability, we have that discipline, so we can bring this to another industry areas such as automotive, medical devices, and so on. Under the 11 measure plan, aerospace industry has been identified as one of the key industry that being promoted by the government. The others, chemical, electrical and electronics, machinery and equipment, M&E, and the other two, which is medical devices and aerospace industry, were identified as the high potential growth sectors. So as you can see, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we are leveraging mostly on the medical devices as well as medical equipment since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. So in short, the country's strategy to focus on medical devices basically good and the right sectors that being focused. Unfortunately for aerospace industry, we are being hit by the pandemic. Now everyone can simply say that we cannot simply fly. But nevertheless, in terms of aerospace engineering, there are a number of activities that can still be continued by the aerospace manufacturers, maintenance, repair, and overhaul service provider, system integration, trainings, and so on. In terms of developing specific high technology area in Malaysia, we should have a specific policy for specific industry. So in the case of aerospace industry, we have developed back in 2014 the second Malaysian Aerospace Industry Blueprint 2030. The blueprint has set Malaysia to become the #1 aerospace nation in Southeast Asia, and also to become integral part of the global market by 2030. So in this slide, you can see that our target basically to capture revenue, annual revenue of 55.2 billion ringgit Malaysia, and to create about 32,000 job opportunities to Malaysia. We have 41 key recommendations with 7 strategies, and there are 5+1 focus areas, which is MRO, aerospace manufacturing, system integration, engineering and design services, education and training, and last but not least, the research and technology. So you can see that when we develop a policy, we have to be precise what sort of areas, what sort of focus, what sort of targets and KPIs that we would like to capture. And this is a very long-term plan for Malaysia. It's about 15 years of programs, and now we have implemented the first phase of 5 years, and you will see in the next few slides the impact to the economy, the impact to the ecosystems in Malaysia. And in implementing this blueprint, we have a number of programs or initiatives being promoted by the government. The first one is the 11 Malaysia Plan. So we have 3 specific projects or program, which is the Aerospace Industry Development Program led by NICO. We have Supply Chain Development Program emphasize in the small and medium enterprises led by SME Corporation Malaysia, and also Aerospace Research and Technology, or better known as R&T, and this is being led by Aerospace Malaysia Innovation Center. But the whole thing, the 3 programs are being coordinated, facilitated by NICO. So we are answerable to the government, the progress, the KPIs of the aerospace industry for under the 11 Malaysia Plan. And not to forget that prior to the blueprint as well as 11 Malaysia Plan, we also have a specific program under the ETP, Economic Transformation Program, launched by the government, and we have 4 programs basically. We are looking into MRO development, pure play engineering services, making Malaysia the hub for aerospace OEM in Southeast Asia, and also to develop the small medium enterprises into the global supply chain. So we have the policy, we have the specific strategy, and how does this be implemented? So in the case of aerospace industry, we have a governance framework led by the Malaysian Aerospace Council, chaired by the YB Minister of MITI. They provide the visions, directions, and overall development plan for the national aerospace industry in Malaysia, and also provide some kind of guidelines and also identify priority areas of aerospace activities. And these councils is being positioned in MITI. So the minister as well as the secretary generals responsible to look into the development of aerospace industry. And then we have a National Aerospace Industry Coordinating Office. We are being supported by the agencies, namely MIDA, Matrix, EMIC, SME Corporation, MARA, TDA, and a few more. In terms of activities, we have industry development activities, we have industry and market intelligence, and also we look into how that we can further expand the market development. So as you can see, the high-tech industry that we are currently developing is not only focusing on technological development, but also to look at how that this industry can benefit the country, the people, and how that we can bring more opportunity, particularly new markets to the industry players. And of course, in developing specific high technology areas, there should not be one single agency or one single ministry that is responsible for the whole activities. So in the case of aerospace industry, as I mentioned earlier, we have a number of agencies helping us, particularly under MITI, which is MIDA, MATRED, CRIMS, MPC. We also collaborated together with other subject matter experts or subject matter agencies, particularly from the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Transport, MOSTI, MEDEC, MOHI, as well as MOHR. So you can see that a number of agencies also have some kind of responsibility and also expertise in developing specific areas towards development of the overall aerospace industry activities. So in terms of MITI, the way we collaborate together with other agencies is through ecosystem development, investment, trade promotion. We also promote the implementation of Industry 4.0 policy, and we also promote in terms of how we can further accelerate the productivity, quality, as well as developing the right talent of human capital for the future. So what are the status of the initiative that being highlighted under the blueprint or under the policy of one of the high technology industry in Malaysia? In the case of aerospace industry, we have implemented or currently implementing about 24 key initiatives, be it under the policy, lever for Malaysians, or enhance effectiveness of institutions, airworthiness and regulation, R&T, developing new capabilities, and also enhance industry competitiveness. We also look into new strategy investment. We want to capture new market and strengthen supply chain, as well as human capital development. So as of last month, about 24 key initiatives are currently being implemented. I must say that each and every key initiative, they have quite a long-term period of implementation, and one specific initiative or key initiative involve a number of other sub-initiatives. So that's why we can't say that each and every initiative have already been implemented successfully. So in terms of implementation, it should be continuous until the end of the blueprint implementation. And what is the most important thing? We need to have some kind of measurement in relations to the KPIs in order to see whether whatever that we have been implemented are bringing in some kind of positive results to the country. So in terms of economic impact, this is pre-COVID, 2019, we have captured 16.2 billion ringgit Malaysia in terms of revenue, and this is the highest number that we have captured so far in the history of aerospace industry in Malaysia. So you can see that from this chart, since the implementation of the blueprint back in 2015, the revenue has been gradually increased, and we are basically on the right track in capturing the 55.2 billion ringgit Malaysia. But nevertheless, based on our studies, it is not enough in terms of the development. We need to do more activities in ensuring that we can further develop and capture more markets in the next few years. The industry has already been supported by 27,500 highly skilled workers. Again, this is the record that we have captured so far. In terms of revenue distributions, MRO, maintenance, repair, and overhaul, has overtaken the manufacturing. For the last 5 years, manufacturing, supported by the quality investors, they have been the number one contributor to the revenue, aerospace industry revenue. But last year, MRO has managed to contribute about 49% revenue for the aerospace activities. And the rest, as you can see, manufacturing 47%, system integration about 2%, training is about 1%, representing 210 million. So you can see that training can also be one of the potential revenues for aerospace industry activities. Of course, research and technology, this is where that we spend our money. At this point of time, whatever that we spend for research and technology development under the 11 Malaysia plan, NICO has managed to capture about 11 million ringgit Malaysia being sourced to Aerospace Malaysia Innovation Center, and the implementation is still ongoing. So you can see that in the next few slides, I will be highlighting a number of digitalization projects that we have already implemented together with EMIC. And of course, we hope that in the next few years, the KPIs of R&T implementation can be seen. In terms of export, last year we captured 8.81 billion ringgit Malaysia. Again, this is the highest export value that we have captured, and mainly coming from parts and component manufacturing. I would like to highlight to the audience today, the Malaysia is considered as one of the critical suppliers for aerospace parts and component, particularly for A320 as well as Boeing 737. And most composite panels for the wings are coming from either Malacca or even Bukit Kayu Hitam, as well as Sungai Buloh and Subang. So about 55% of the composite parts are coming from Malaysia, and at this moment is a single source. If you fly from Malaysia to London utilizing Malaysia Airline Berhad A350, so the fan cowl of the aircraft are basically coming from Malacca. And also the recent production of 787 Dreamliner, if you use the British Airways 787, the fan cowl are also coming from CTRM, and it is a single source from Malaysia. Okay, in terms of investment, we have managed to capture about 2.07 billion ringgit Malaysia last year, thanks to MIDA and the team that managed to secure such investment. Of course, we work together with many other parties in ensuring that the Malaysia is being selected by this OEM as well as the local investors. As you can see from this slide, about 1.8 billion or 89% of the investment are coming from domestic investment, while about 11% are coming from the foreign investment, which means that we are not only looking into foreign investors, but also promoting domestic investment, especially for those who have some kind of partnerships together with international players. And what is the important thing that I would like to highlight here, although we managed to capture about 2 billion plus worth of investment, we will be only offering about 582 jobs, which means that the potential investment that we have captured last year will be giving some kind of high technological opportunities, jobs to Malaysians. So 582 is not a big number, but I can see this is a high income, high skill jobs that we are offering to Malaysian. So for the last 20 years, we have been developing the ecosystem, and of course, we can see that quite a lot of companies from Malaysia as well as from abroad develop their operations in Malaysia. So from regulators, we have a number of government agencies supporting the industries. We have the aerospace manufacturers. We have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, even the aerospace engineering design and services. We have the system integrator. We have the MRO, research and technology, as well as training and education. Why we highlighted the operators in yellow, just to show to you that in terms of engineering activities or aerospace industry development, we exclude the operations of the system because this is under the Ministry of Transport. So that's how we segregate the role and responsibility. But nevertheless, we work together with MOT as well as MINDEF, because you can see from the operators, there are a number of military operators or security operators that utilize fighters, helicopters, and so on. So in terms of supporting element, whether it is aerospace manufacturing, system integration, as well as MRO, so we work together hand in hand together with other ministries. In terms of COVID-19 impact, as I highlighted before, aerospace industry in Malaysia are being considered as one of the critical suppliers, to the global OEMs such as Airbus and Boeing. So currently we are facing some kind of scale down of orders for aerospace parts and components, and a significant reduction of MRO works due to the grounding of commercial aircraft. We can see that Asia, Mars, Malindo are not flying as frequent as they have done before COVID-19. And this somehow or other has already impacted the development of our industry. So we are anticipating about about 30%, 40% loss of our revenue this year. And this chart can show that in terms of aerospace manufacturing revenue, we anticipate that we can only capture about 5.31 billion ringgit Malaysia, while the MRO will still maintain the leadership, but with a reductions of a small number of percentage for the revenue, about 5.58 billion. And what we're afraid is that about 4,000, 5,000 people will be laid off due to the fact that the activities within the aerospace manufacturing and MRO are already shrinking. From NICO point of view, there are other potential growth areas that can assist us to overcome these reductions, particularly professional trainings for pilots, engineers, and technicians, of which that although aircraft are not flying, pilots still need to ensure their competencies, their effectiveness in terms of managing the machines. Same goes to engineers and technicians. So Malaysia has a number of training institutions as well as training centers that can be leveraged by many parties. But of course, we have to work hand in hand together with the Ministry of Health, the immigrations as well, to see how that we can bring all these professionals to come to Malaysia without jeopardizing the issues with regards to COVID-19 pandemics. Secondly, we are also looking into heavy MRO activities, which consists of cargo configuration, for example, modifications, and so on. Although the commercial airlines are not flying as frequent as they were, but the cargo activities are basically more than 100%. So we are looking into how that we can help the industry to do some kind of cargo configuration, modification, and so on. So in Malaysia, we have a number of companies that can do all these kind of activities. And we are also looking into new outsourcing work of manufacturing. So this is a bit contradicting when we say that the reduction of orders, but we want to see how that we can capture other works from other parties. Back in Europe, in US, as well as in Canada, a number of tier 3 companies, tier 4 companies are suffering with the pandemic of advantage that we have. There are also an opportunity for us to localize as much as we could aerospace product and also some kind of systems, services. For instance, the UAS, small satellite radar system, all of these things can be sourced from local manufacturers, local integrator, and the services related to it can also be sourced from local expertise. And engagement of local expert for system upgrade, modification, and services can be done. The most important thing at this point of time, it is very difficult to bring international or global experts to Malaysia, or not only to Malaysia, to other countries, due to the fact that the border are closed and so on. So this is the opportunity for us to leverage on our own expertise and how that we can promote the utilization of our own products. In terms of transformation, for digital transformations, we have started to look into digital transformation since 2011, when we, during that time in MIC, we established the Aerospace Malaysia Innovation Center. Most of the people may say that we replicate a number of centers in the UK, but basically we are developing a center which is based on our own requirement. So the model are quite different, but in terms of content and so on, we have developed it together with the OEMs such as Airbus, Rolls-Royce, and not to forget CTRM. And at the beginning of the establishment of EMIC, we also brought together local institutions, local research institutions, to also provide their views and how best that we can develop this organization. So we have implemented quite a number of activities. As you can see from this slide, this is 2 examples that we have implemented under the 11 measure plan. So the first one is automated spray painter by being implemented under Spirit Aero System, and also the second one is the automated fiber placement implemented by CTRM. Of course, these 2 projects have been coordinated by EMIC and facilitated by NICO under the 11 measure plan. So moving forward, for the next 5 years under RMK 12, we foresee that the implementation of aerospace digital transformation is very, very key. While some of our activities, particularly the aerospace manufacturing, are being reduced, and but the numbers are still there. So within the next 2 years, the aerospace industry will recover. So this is the right time for us to implement Industry 4.0 activities as well as digital transformation agenda. So among the activities or areas that we have identified includes smart manufacturing, data analytics, and connectivity, and also virtual environment. While we are looking into this technological advancement as well as Industry 4.0 implementations, of course, in terms of human capital and high talent, we will be requiring a new generations of workers with new emerging skills. These numbers of 7,542 additional workers that required by the industry was based on the study that was conducted by JPK as well as NICO last year. So this is pre-COVID, yeah, of which that we foresee based on the development of the industry since 2015. So a number of new blue collars and white collars support the industries. So if everything goes well last time, if this can be implemented by 2025, we have managed to capture more than 32,000 jobs for aerospace industry. But nevertheless, based on the studies that we have conducted, we have identified what sort of skills in demand as well as Industry 4.0 related skills that is required by the industry. So from this list, you can see that we are looking into big data analytics or engineering, 3D rapid modeling and prototyping, content digitalization, adaptive technology, UAV related skills, electronics, IT and IT enabler, CMM programmers, aircraft MRO enterprise, and so on. So we need to see how best that we can further develop the technical skills in the long run. So this is my last slide. Moving forward, for any high technology industries to be implemented well, it's not only enough to have a comprehensive strategic plan. We need to couple it together with adaptable implementation strategy, which means that we are quite flexible in terms of implementing our implementation plan, because the situation with regards to economic, as global economy, technology, as well as specific pandemics giving some kind of impact to the implementation strategy. So we need to be flexible and we need to be innovative in terms of developing new way of doing things, and also to ensure that we can continue to maintain the momentum of industry development. So in terms of sustaining Malaysia competitiveness in the aerospace global arena, we need to develop new competency through research and technology. We need to move towards Industry 4.0 or digital technology, and of course we are promoting, we need to have some kind of strategic partnership to create greater impact for our industry. And from this diagram, you can see that we have listed the 5+1 subsectors under the aerospace manufacturing. We also listed out the target, yeah, for specific subsectors. But the strategy in terms of industry development, R&D, and technology adaptations also need to be given special attention. So in the case of industry development, we need to attract more quality investments, not limited to foreign, but also domestic investors. And we need to develop aerospace clusters, not limited to Subang, Sepang, and also Senai. So we need to have specific areas that can further develop the specific activities within the region. For instance, we have Langkawi, we have Negeri Sembilan, not to forget Alostar, KK, and also Kuching. We need to have some kind of partnership together with international players so that we can bring more advanced technology into the country, not only adapting it, but also to create some kind of new innovations, new way of doing things, processes, and so on. In terms of research and technology, we need to move into aerospace high value manufacturing activities. We need to modernize, we need to automate, and not only relying on the skilled workforce. So in terms of skilled workforce, we need to transform them to become better, to have some kind of machine learning and digital learning as well. Digital transformation is a must, and hopefully that we, with all this kind of expertise, we can further develop our indigenous product system that can be marketable worldwide. In terms of technology adaptation, I have already mentioned Space 4.0, Industry 4.0, disruptive technologies. We need to have transfer of technology, and also to ensure that we have specific certification and qualification in order to become a champion at the global arena. The rest, we talk about human capital, the needs to have specific skills for talent development. Of course, we need to have structured talent program. We need to have trainers competency program. We also need to educate or encourage continuous professional development to ensure that a lot more can become professional technology certified technician or even professional engineers in the area of aerospace industry. And Malaysia can always become the hub for professional trainings. We have the very good platform, very good facilities, but and we can bring all these people to Malaysia, not only to provide professional trainings to them, but also to create a conducive ecosystem for them to exchange ideas together with our subject matter experts. So this is my last point. The most important thing for us in engineering the high technology activities in Malaysia, we have to be flexible. We have to be effective in whatever that we do. Ensure that we can adapt with the technological development in the long run, and of course the human capital, the technical talent should be further developed as what the industry requires. And these are some kind of transformation that we need to do, not only for the industry but also for the other supply chains of the aerospace industry or any other high technology activities, be it the regulators, be it the policy, universities, research and technology centers, and also not to forget the operators of the specific equipment, machines that we develop under our specific industries. So with that, I would like to thanks again UTM Faculty of Engineering for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with regards to high technology development, particularly in the view of aerospace industry. And we hope that more and more activity with regards to high technology activity can be done, and UTM can also play their role as the number one engineering schools or faculty in Malaysia for chemical and the other two, and hopefully electrical and electronics will also be uplift to become number one in Malaysia. So with that, I thank you and I give it back to the Dean.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Shamsul, for your insightful sharing with us today. We believe that it would benefit to our students, our staff, alumni, and our community as well. And it is our great pleasure to have you as our captain today, despite our busy schedule. You are giving your precious time with us. Also, thank you to our viewers today for your passion and keep your interest with COI program. We do encourage our viewers to share your questions and thoughts with Professor Shamsul. And actually now, our Q&A session, we are waiting for the questions from our viewers. By then, this is my personal question for you, Prof. By 2020 and future, how NICO would manage to inspire public communities, our communities, so that they will understand and appreciate the profound impact of the aerospace industry, thus engineering profession on socio-cultural systems, the full spectrum of our career opportunities accessible through our engineering educations, and the value of engineering education itself. And then our engineers, our aerospace engineers would successfully in their working environment.
I think the most important thing is to show to the public what have we done so far. They should know that we are critical suppliers or critical equation within the global supply chain. So if you fly together with Malaysia Airlines, AirAsia, we need to feel that we are flying together with an aircraft that most of the wing parts are coming from Malaysia. So we should not be shy saying that, hey, we are flying together with parts coming from Malaysia. We should be proud that we are able to develop and produce high technological components for the global market, and not only for aircraft. There are specific helicopters parts that are basically produced by Malaysia, particularly CTRM and also a few other companies and SMEA as well. And we are also venturing into space 4.0, or better known as new space economy, of which we hope that we can have our own, space port. We need to have our own mission control center that can control the space tourism activities or space flight activities. And hopefully in the next few years we can also launch our what do you call it, these satellites to the orbit, and these are the things that we need to publicize to the public, and we need to somehow show to them how all these processes being implemented, and how that we can also develop specific programs, specific machines and systems that can be produced, can be developed in Malaysia. For instance, UAV, drones, and so on. At this point of time, we purchase it from the OEM. So, but we believe that we have that capability. But the most important thing is to ensure that we have some kind of intentions to bring more people into the industries and to make them proud with whatever that we have done so far. And it's not easy for Malaysia. It took us more than 20 years to bring our capability to this level. But we want to become number one in Southeast Asia in the next 10 years from now. So that's why we need the supports, not limited to from the universities, the industry, but also from the society. So under the shared prosperity 2030, so we hope that aerospace industry can also be part of the main element that can prosper the development of our nations.
Thank you so much, Prof. Shamsul. Good to know that. Great to know that we are actually 20 years in aerospace industry in Malaysia. Okay, this is an opinion from Kamal Johari, one of our viewers today. Blueprint without the will from the leadership will be a setback to a good aspiration. Malaysia has all the ingredients and talents, but we are still lacking in the aerospace industry. Sales does not portray the true nation's ability to becoming a major player with only small local talents involvement. Mostly are taken up by foreigners. You have any opinion on that?
That's why I said that nobody, when we publish the numbers that we have captured last year, 16.2 billion ringgit Malaysia, people will say that we can't see that when we don't have Malaysia Airlines becoming the giants of MRO. So people don't really see it, but we have a lot of opportunities in terms of foreigners. Yeah, you may see. I can simply say that foreigners, we need foreigners to be in this country, but based on our database, it's not that many, and we promote the subject matter expert to be in the country. It's just that the promotions, the highlights of the industries are not being highlighted well. So that's why I said in developing the high technology areas, we have to work together with many parties. Implementation is one thing. We need to be flexible. We need to be innovative, because people on the ground feel it. Of course, when we said about sales, it not portrays the true ability, but the sales are portraying that we are capable to produce what other people cannot produce. Yep. Of course, developing an ecosystem, developing capability without KPIs, such as economic benefits, will not serve the purpose of any policies or any high technology development so far. So that's why whatever it is, bear in mind, when we develop our policy, we want to develop specific high technology areas. The government is not providing fund, are providing some kind of investment to ensure that we will get back our money through investors, through investment, through the sales of our product, through the sales of our services. And of course, this will give an opportunity for our people, particularly Malaysians, to gain high income jobs. Yeah, I can say that thousands of our engineers, pilots, even cabin crews are currently working outside of Malaysia, particularly in Middle East. But you know, due to the pandemic issues, they might be coming back and they need to serve the country again. But what people doesn't feel or they don't really see is the benefit of what we gave back to the people. And not only giving high income economy income to some of the engineers, pilots, and so on, but we also provided opportunity for the B40 to be together with us in particularly in the ground handling and so on. Not less than 5,000 B40 of society serving the industry at this point of time. So that's why we need to further develop the ecosystem, introduce technology so that these people, the people who have skills, can have the opportunity to participate in high technological activities. Yeah, we do receive this kind of comment, or what I call it, these feedbacks and views, but we still positive. I'm proud to say that my team, together with other related relevant agencies, we have done justice so far for the last 5 years. But of course, we take this kind of comment as a challenge to us to further develop the industry. And of course, in our case, we also need to have a good institutionals so that we can deliver and chart the development of industry in accordance to what we plan. Okay, that is my response to Kamal.
Thank you, Prof. Okay, this is a question from Lee Yifong. With the existence of flying car in future, will aerospace industry be affected?
Okay, anything that flies has the element of aero. Okay. You will not be able to fly without having some kind of certification approval by the authority. So in the case of flying car, or even MRO, or even UAS or drones, it has to be regulated by CAM if it is commercial. So the element of flying in specific machines such as car are basically an aerospace technology. So it is part and parcel of the future aerospace activities, and we feel that it can accelerate the development of other byproducts such as flying taxi, flying cars, drones, and so on. So which means that the requirement of human capital, for instance, we required some kind of integration between aerospace, automotive, electronics, and so on. So we don't see that aerospace industry will be affected with the introduction of this kind of systems or equipment such as flying car, drones, and so on. But whatever flies, is an aerospace activities.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prof. And suddenly Mary Poppins pop up in my mind. Okay, Nur Aina, what are the essential skills that students need to have as future workforce in aerospace?
Okay. As for engineering, in Malaysia, we has been told that we need to master in specific science and technology modules such as physics, maths, mathematics, chemical, and so on. That is given, but whatever that we learn in the school, even the university, will not be able to support us for the future. As I highlighted just now, the requirements are totally different. People want the products to be delivered fast, and once they, for instance, when we purchase certain parts or certain products from the EE platform, we want the equipments or the products to arrive to our place as soon as possible. So same goes to aerospace industry. We take the aerospace manufacturing, for example. Um, the client, particularly the people who flies together with the commercial airlines, they don't want to wait for another few more years for the new aircraft to come. So when they request or they have the intention to fly, so the airlines requesting the OEMs to further accelerate the productions and so on. So this will go through for the next level, tier 1, tier 3 company. So apart from understanding the aerospace terminology or subjects, we need to have new um, um, new technology, new understanding. For instance, data, how that we work together with robots. Yeah, we call it cobots. Yeah, and then how that we can work from far. We send our huge file to the manufacturers and to ensure that it can be interpreted well by the people who wants to machines the parts and so on. So I can say that apart from understanding the systems, the physics of the equipments and the system, we need to have some kind of understanding with regards to digital technology, how data being collected from machines, from equipment, from the aircraft, to ensure that we can help to deliver our product and services faster than what we have done before. So that's some of the skills that will be required in the future.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. I hope that our students listen carefully to what we are saying just now. Okay, another question from Noraina. Okay, first of all, Prof, is that possible if we exceed 1 hour allocation time?
Yes, okay.
All right. This is a question from Noraina. How do we position Malaysia's aerospace industry to suit the current situation of COVID-19?
It's a sad thing to see our skies clear.
Okay.
Yeah, for those who was engaged together with University of what do you call it, this UITM in Dengkil, or even USIM in Nilai, and the Multimedia University in Cyberjaya. We used to see aircraft flying from Sepang, takeoff and landing and so on. In fact, in Subang also, we used to have to see a lot of activities with regards to helicopters, turboprops, and also cargo. But nevertheless, the COVID-19 has somehow affect some of our activities. But nevertheless, we should continue to ensure that we can adapt with the new normal. yes, aircraft can fly, but possibly we can utilize the aircraft for cargo movements or charter, of which not many people will use the aircraft. But of course, the what do you call it? The price will be a bit higher. But that's why I said, apart from the traditional business activities that we have participated so far, we need to move into new areas. For instance, human capital development, some indigenous products that previously Malaysians parties doesn't want to purchase from Malaysian due to the fact that it's, yeah, you know, the reason saying that it's not high tech enough, not proven technology, and so on. But believe me, development of our own system, participate in development of modifications, system enhancement by the local parties will position us into the next level. Um, of course, in our strategy, we are not looking into producing our own aircraft. We have produced our aircraft back in 1990s. We have Eagle as well as MD3, but the problem is that we can't really market it as much as we could. But the most important thing, we managed to brought in the technology, the understanding, to position ourselves as one of the critical suppliers for the OEM. So we still have opportunity in positioning ourselves within the global aerospace value chain. But now is the time for us to move into new products, new services that can also be market not limited to Malaysia, but also regionally and internationally. And of course, that will require specific certification, specific approval in ensuring that our products, our services are at global standard.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Of course, it will be a blessing in disguise, and a rainbow will shine in the clear blue sky. And this is from Shanglin. Most of the aviation personnel are interested to continue in further study and improve themselves. However, many give up as there are too much or rigid requirements by different agencies. How we can streamline it and make it easier? Thank you.
Okay, this is a bit tricky question, but it's relevant to our topics. If we can go back to the time that we receive our SPM result, yeah, some of our colleagues managed to get 7 A's, 8 A's, 10. Now they have even 11 A's, straight A's, and previously, or I think now, the airline still continue to engage with all these bright students, the all straight A's people. They would like to bring them to become cadet pilot, you know, so they can go engage together with the airlines to become a pilot. So after 5 years, they can have their opportunity to gain what I call it, this license for them to become a commercial pilot license. But what we don't really aware, those people doesn't have any other certification rather than SPM. So in the time of crisis like COVID-19, I'm not saying all, but most. So in the time of crisis, if let's say the opportunity together with the airlines stops at a certain period of time, so these people, when they go out, they only have SPMs to, you know, to promote. So this is same goes to the engineers. I mean, the licensed aircraft engineers and so on. They are also the same, and not to forget the cabin crew. So that's why we are looking into enriching the people with what I call it, this prior recognitions program under the JPK, of which that certain specific people, when they have specific skills, they can be awarded with Sijil Kemahiran Malaysia or even Diploma Lanjutan Kemahiran Malaysia. So with that, these people can have opportunity to further their studies, particularly in the technical or technological area, to get some kind of B Tech and so on. So we are looking into it. We are streamlining some kind of arrangement together with JPK, MOHE, and MOHR. It will take some time, but we have already started and certain activities are already being implemented. So yeah, we acknowledge that, but we hope that we will gain a lot of success story in the next few years from now.
Wow, we have another questions coming from Zainal Azinazir. Prof. Sam, can you elaborate the helicopters and business jet market to Malaysian aerospace supply chain?
All right. In terms of helicopters and business jet, it is not like the commercial airline, of which people afraid to fly. Although we say that, hey, you can fly free, you just pay the airport tax or whatsoever, I can tell you people will still scared to fly, particularly to the areas that have the high case of COVID-19, particularly like Sabah and so on. But in terms of helicopters as well as business aviation, business has to go on. Yeah. So that's why you can see that in Subang particularly, or I think in Senai, helicopters as well as business jets are still flying. And in fact, when we interviewed a number of companies in Subang, those who are providing MRO services to business jet, their business has increased up to 15%. Due to the fact that business jet are being utilized by the business people, the corporate people, in order to move around and engage together with their clients and so on. Of course, with a specific clearance from the immigration and so on. In terms of helicopters, the activities with regards to security, defense, as well as monitoring the activities within Malaysia, in Malaysia, still being implemented operations. In fact, yesterday when the rulers met in Istana Negara, Awani has already mentioned about 2 helicopters flew to Istana Negara, which means that helicopters are being used during this crisis. In response to Zainal's questions, helicopters, business jet activities are booming at this point of time. In terms of supply chain, we only operate as well as we manage the repair and overhaul activities. In terms of parts and manufacturing activities, it is not that many, but that we have a number of products that currently being produced by the Malaysian suppliers, particularly for Airbus helicopters, as well as for business jet like Embraer and Bombardier. So, but it's still small. But in a nutshell, the activities is good, and it provides in terms of services, FBO, and also the ground handling activities.
Okay.
I hope I answers Zainal's question.
Okay. I hope so, yeah, of course. And a question from Zainab was the last questions. Thank you so much, Professor Samsul, for your time with us. And
Yep.
also thank you for our viewers. Thank you so much for your support with COI program and also our webinar series organized by Faculty of Engineering UTM. It's always a pleasure for us for having our large number of viewers for our webinar Captain of Industry today. Okay, I thought that Dato will not coming back for closing remarks. And with that, thank you so much, Professor
Well,
Samsul.
thank you.
Let's stay at the back stage, and we have some just little conversations towards that. Maybe Prof. Shuhaimi would like to share to say something. And for our viewers, please wait to our upcoming webinar with our next Captain of Industry in future. Please activate your get reminder on your Facebook for your upcoming webinar, Captain of Industry. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep your social distancing. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share our program. Have a good day. Have a nice day. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.